Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living of Boise. We're going to have you, if you're comfortable, stand up right where you are. We're going to do a congregational song this morning, Holy, Holy Way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me know that love is all around. Let me know that love is all around. Oh, let my steps reveal a path of peace. Let my steps reveal a path of peace. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me learn from all the ways I fall. Let me learn from all the ways I fall. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me share the good that's overflowing. Good that's overflowing. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me care for those around the world. Let me care for those around the world. Oh, let me know that love can heal us all. Let me know that love can heal us all. Oh, let me talk each day a little kinder. Let me talk each day a little kinder. Oh, let me serve in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me live in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love in a holy, holy way.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living of Boise, Idaho. Another beautiful Sunday, another beautiful time together. How delighted I am to welcome you this morning. We are so beautifully supported here in our sanctuary by a group of socially distancing individuals who are here supporting us this morning, beginning, of course, with the CSL House Band. We have, of course, Mr. George Hayden, known better as the musician on the side of the road in Boise, Idaho on Tuesdays. Is that right? Where are you going to be this Tuesday, George? Huh? Bogus Basin and Hill Road at 11:30. Drive by at 11:30ish. Bogus Basin and Hill Road so that you can see George playing with some of his other musical people. I'll tell you something. You can't keep these musicians down. Nothing is keeping these musicians down. They're playing on the side of the road. Blaze and Kelly are giving live concerts every Saturday night. I'm telling you, nothing can keep our musicians down, and it's very exciting. Also with us this morning, Phil Bowden on the drums, and our magnificent, handsome, and talented musical director, Mr. Rex Miller. Yes. And this morning, I cannot begin to tell you how delighted I am to have with us this morning Miss Sandra Kavanaugh. Yes! Woo! Sandra and Rex are going to be performing this morning some of their original music, which you can find on their beautiful CD. I don't know if you can get a close-up of this, but it's a CD which is called Let Go. Let Go. Now, you can get this CD because we only have one more in the bookstore, but you can go to rexandsandra.com, correct? rexandsandra.com, and it will then take you to a link, Reverb Nation. And by the way, guys, I want you to think about this right now. All of our musicians really, truly are out of work. Right now, their gigs have been shut down and they're out of work. So please don't go to one of those cheapy places and get their CDs that don't give them the right amount of money that a musician should be making. And Reverb Nation is one of the best. So it's called Let Go. Rexandsandra.com is the place that you can hear it. I just want to say also this morning, as you guys are getting your coffee and getting prepared for our Sunday service, I want to just thank the people also who are behind the scenes. You're going to be seeing Deborah Whitman, of course. She is our practitioner of the day. She will be bringing forth her spiritual principles for you to participate with her today. And we have Thomas O'Rourke back in the back on the sound system, making us all sound good. And I hope you've seen the change in the sound. And we have our beloved Phil Bowden to thank for that, as well as the unspoken hero of this pandemic through the CSL Boise experience is Donna Sheedy. Miss Donna Sheedy, who is behind the camera right now, acting all embarrassed, I want to tell you that without Donna, we would not be having this Facebook Live. We would not be having our Zoom coffee time, our hospitality time after service. We wouldn't be doing any of this. Her tireless work, her dedication to the Center for Spiritual Living, and her dedication as a practitioner, I'm just saying it publicly. Donna, we love you. Yes. And also learning how to do this today, we have Miss Cheryl Houdon, who is also learning how to do some camera work so that we can give Donna a much, much needed break. Okay, so now this is called, what is this called in the industry where you keep talking so that people have time to come on? Okay, in the industry it's called stalling. According to the expert, the filmmaker herself, Miss Sandra Kavanaugh. So this morning, again, from my heart, I just want to thank you for being with us on Facebook Live, and for all of you that are watching this later in the day or perhaps even in the week, how blessed we are. Please let us know that you came and visited us. We see these numbers. We see these impersonal numbers of people who come on, but I don't always get to know who you are unless you somehow let us know you're on, like hello, or I'm here, or happy day, whatever you want to say in the comments so that we can know who's watching. So thank you for being with us. Now I'd like you just to take a deep breath because I'm finished stalling. I know you're all ready for service. Let's just take a moment now. Take a deep breath with me. As Rex prepares your heart through his beautiful music. Every week I ask you to ask yourself 3 questions. How am I today? How is my body today? So grateful for its health, for the strong lungs, for the breathing. How is my body today? How is my heart today? Is it open and receptive? Am I feeling loved and comforted? And how is my mind today? We invite you to open your mind now. Take another deep breath with me as we invite our practitioner, Deborah Whitman, to the stage.
Good morning and welcome to Facebook Live. My name is Deborah Whitman and I am your practitioner this morning. It is my honor to introduce Thomas O'Rourke, who will light the world religions candles from the Christ candle. In religious science, we perform this ceremony to acknowledge that all people and all faiths come from one great universal presence which we call Spirit. In lighting these candles, we honor the one family of humanity made up of over 4,000 religions and spiritual traditions throughout the world. We light the first candle for Judaism, which teaches there is only one God and that religion isn't one aspect of life, it is life. We light the second candle for Christianity, where letting go and letting God is grace and humility personified. Christianity accepts this as a liberating and beautiful experience. We light the third candle in honor of Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Buddhism, the religion of those seeking to be awakened, and honors the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The fifth and final candle honors New Thought, encompassing metaphysics which transcends the physical and seeks a clear understanding of the realm of ideas and their legitimate expression. And so now it is time to quiet our minds and open our hearts to the message being sung by Sandra Kavanaugh.
Does any one of us really know just what the truth is, or where we'll find bliss? We follow any way the wind blows. We're searching for wisdom and forgiveness. Could it be that all we need to know is that what matters doesn't really come and go? What if right here in this moment is all we really need to make us whole? Take a breath and drink it in. Let this moment touch your heart and warm your skin. We waste a life of precious moments waiting for better to begin, when all we really need to see is that now is all that needs to be. Let's drink it in. What if every single thing we've ever done was meant to bring us right to this moment? Do we really need to chase some far off sun? What if our only guide is living deep inside? Could it be that all we need to know was in our heart right from the start of this great this moment is remembering what we already know. Just take a breath and drink it in. Just let this moment fill your heart and warm your skin. Let's not waste this precious moment waiting for better to begin. When all we'll ever need to be is here and now, if we can only see and drink it in. Every moment holds a lifetime. Each question answers itself with endless lines to every story. Be mindful which ones you tell, and take a breath and drink it in. Just let this moment fill your heart and warm your skin. For in every precious moment, a brand new story can begin. We're now, that's all we need to be. We're here, and now we truly see. Let's drink it in.
Please join me in prayer. Take a deep breath with me. And as Sandra so beautifully sang in this song, let's drink in this moment as we recognize the one presence, the one power, the one source of all life that is everywhere present, seen and unseen. Let us remember, let us know, let us feel that joy of knowing that we are one with this presence, that God is the very essence of our being, that there is nothing we can say, do, or think that God is not involved in every bit of it. For we are co-creating our experience with Spirit. So let us remember that this morning as we go about the busy business of our day, as we prepare to move into the next phase of our life, as we prepare to let go of the old and bring forth the new normal into our lives. Let us remember that God is right there with us in this moment, co-creating with us, bringing forth everything we need that we are asking for. And so this morning, from this absolute place of faith, of knowing, I bless this service. I bless everyone that had any hands in this service. And I especially bless Reverend Jackie as she steps forth and she allows Spirit to speak through her, to bring forth the message that we all needed to hear today. Oh, I drink in this moment. It is so joyful and it is so precious. It is so precious that we are all here. We are able to hear this service. We are able to breathe in the moment for another day. And so together with me say, Namaste.
Namaste.
Om.
Om.
Shanti.
Shanti.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Aho.
Aho.
Amen.
Amen.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Oh, Miss Miss Sandra Kavanaugh. Let's give it up for her.
Rex and I just wrote this song for you yesterday. If the poet's dream is never heard, how many angel tears are shed for the wonders left unsaid. And if the music stays in might have been, how many angels feel the ache of the promise as it breaks. How can we treat the dreams we hold as just glitter on the path to growing old? And silent watch them turn to dust, 'cause we're afraid that we just aren't enough. If we reach past all that we've been told, find the truth we've always known, that each of us hold our own key to what we're meant to be. Whisper your dreams out into the world. Just trust and believe and let your flag unfurl. Whisper your dreams, let the wind carry them high. Step into possibility, that your dreams are seeds of meant to be, and all that is and was and will ever be was once only the whisper of a dream. Passion holds a promise so profound. It's the foundation on which all our futures stand. There's a power deep within the smallest sound. The strongest tower is only splinters that are stacked on grains of sand. Whisper your dreams out into the world. Just trust and believe and let your flag unfurl. Whisper your dreams, let the wind carry them high. Step into possibility, that your dreams are seeds of meant to be, and all that is and was and will ever be was once only the whisper of a dream. You are the whisper of a dream. Just whisper your dream. Whisper your dream.
Sandra Kavanaugh, ladies and gentlemen, the whisper of a dream. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Good morning. All of you who are at home in your pajamas, I'm envious. I say that every week, but I am envious and welcoming you once again. You know, people ask me all the time how I prepare my talks. The United Centers does have a suggested topic list, but I love them, and they're wonderful, and I use them, but not always in the order that they give them to us. But I usually choose my topics for us based on what I've been hearing from you, either through phone calls or through sessions, or sometimes I just get this idea because Spirit plants it in my heart, and then I don't have any choice about what I'm going to speak about when that happens. So yesterday uh, uh, I was pulling weeds, and I was thinking, I had one idea in mind, and then I said, I'm not liking that idea. And then I received just the perfect phone call. In fact, about 15 of the perfect phone calls yesterday asking me, when is the church going to open? When do you expect the church to open was the question that most of them asked. When do you expect that we can come back to church? And so many of you heard, of course, Governor Little's four-phase plan that he announced this week, as well as our Boise mayor, McLean, announced that churches can be meeting. But your leadership has made the decision that we are going to cautiously reopen. We are going to be thinking and watching the numbers, and we are going to be cautiously reopening the church. Right now, perhaps the fourth week in May, we are anticipating, and we'll be meeting outside, and we'll be having a giant revival. And I'm excited about that, Rex, because I'm Southern Baptist, and we love a good revival, buddy. I mean, we love a good revival. So we're going to be doing a revival right now, looking at the fourth Sunday, whatever date that is. Initially, we had said the third Sunday, but we have become a little cautious based on some of the numbers. So we're just knowing that. So it came to me, now, what do I have to talk about? I have to talk about expectations, expectancy. And that's what we're all feeling right now. We like it. We like it that the governor spoke and said we can go back and maybe soon get a haircut, please God. And that maybe, we can shop a little bit more. I've missed my shopping, but I've saved a lot of money just for the day when I can go back. No, I'm teasing all of y'all. But it's a sense of expectancy when the governor announced that we can cautiously begin to reopen. And it is a sense of anticipation. Expectancy is based on a sense of anticipation about what is to come. And it's the result of an energy that we've been holding now for almost 2 months. When can we get back together? When can we get some hugs? Do you know how hard it is for me for the first time in several months, to see Sandra Kavanaugh and not be able to hug her? But we're being cautious. We're sending our virtual hugs to each other. But this energy that we're feeling, this energy of expectation, this energy of anticipation, can only be released when we have an idea that's bigger than ourselves. That's bigger than ourselves. We just can't sit here feeling confused and restricted and expect the universe to give us anything other than confusion and restriction. So we can't stand here and be confused and restricted and expect a different response. We know that what we put our energy onto is what we will get back. If our attitude is one of expectation, of expectancy, then the universe will respond to us in kind. Because the universe does one thing very well. One thing very well. The universe inundates us with whatever it is that we have an attitude about. So I'm having to pull myself up a little short right now because I watch too much CNN and MSNBC. I watch too much. I'm feeling good. I'm out digging in my garden. I'm out pulling those weeds, playing with my dogs. I go in and say, well, maybe I better just check up on the news. The attitude goes down. The universe does one thing well. It will inundate you. It will overwhelm you with the thing that you have an attitude about. The universe is willing to give us anything that we expect. Anything that we expect. So many of us, especially right now, have a little bit of an attitude about the not so good. This morning I came in because I had some face masks made by Lana Levy. By the way, she's making some magnificent face masks. And I decided I wanted to give a little gift to our music team. So she had made some beautiful musical masks. And some of the team looked at me like, really? I'm not putting this on. And then I recognized that was my expectancy, that they have the same concerns that I have. We have to stop thinking everybody in the world has the same expectation we have, because we do not. I got to say, people keep asking over and over and over when we're going to open up. And I keep saying that all the things that we're seeing in the newspaper and all the things that we are saying in the world do not support expectancy of something good. They are supporting the opposite. So right now, this church is holding, first of all, safety, wisdom, rationality, as well as holding what we know to be the truth. That the universe is supportive and good, that God is greater than anything, including something called pandemic, and that we can, in this moment, change our attitude about things, and say to ourselves, I'm creating within myself an expectancy, an expectation built on the possibility of what I know can be. Like most of you, I follow Governor Cuomo. Is that how I say it? Cuomo? Cuomo. Oh, we got two New Yorkers in the room. Cuomo? Okay, you know the one, the guy. And I watch him. And yesterday I loved the metaphor that he gave to the world. He said, we are in uncharted waters. We do not know what to do. We are in uncharted waters. He said that may be true, but we don't have to just blindly go and do something because we don't know what we're supposed to be doing. I loved that. He told the story of before there were all of these equipment on large boats. He said that on the early boats, what they would do, early ships, when they would get near to a shore and the captain would say, how close are we, that one of the seamen would throw out a piece of twine, a piece of string with some lead attached to it. By that, it would go down to the bottom, and the seaman could report back to the captain how deep the water was. In addition to that, on the bottom of this piece of lead that was attached to the string was a little bit of wax, which then when it set on the bottom, it would pick up whatever was on the bottom, maybe sand, maybe something else. That, when they pulled it up, could tell the captain what kind of shore they were coming close to. The governor of New York uses as an example of what we need to be doing. We may not know what we should be doing, but we need to let science and reason and wisdom guide us, not emotions and not the desire to hug the heck out of Sandra Kavanaugh. And so the question that I'm asking you is this: what is our expectancy about all of this? What kind of line are we throwing out right now into the universe, asking ourselves, based on rationality, based on science, based on what we know to be important information, what kind of decisions am I making for myself and for my family, for my community, for my bigger, wider community? What decisions am I making? Yes, I can walk into this world with the expectancy of the coronavirus is going to come back and it's all horrifying. Or I can walk on the opposite end into the world and say, oh, nothing's wrong here, everything's fine. Or I can be somewhere in the middle. I can use my God-given knowledge to make decisions and to set my expectations based on that. So what is our expectation for our life right now in this unprecedented, uncharted water time? What is the expectation we have for this community? What is the expectation for our nation, for our world? What expectation? What are we holding in mind? What message are we sending to the universe? Because right now, I've learned this, almost the hard way, I'll tell you, that our expectations are the only thing that we can control right now. Our thoughts, our expectations are truly the only thing we're in control of. Because I could say we're in control of what we put in our mouth, but that white flour and sugar has gotten the better of me. I'm just going to say. I'm in charge of my attitude. I'm in charge of the decisions that I'm making. If I allow things outside of me to get me discouraged, then life will respond to my discouragement and not what I really want to see in the world. This is Science of Mind 1, but I think in a time like this, we need to go back to the basics. What I'm suggesting for us is not easy, but it's possible because we're working with the greatest principle in our philosophy. We are working with the principle that says whatever we desire and expect must come into our lives. Think about this for a moment. Remember Ernest Holmes in 1960, in his great sermon by the sea, said, "Give me 100 people who believe this and know this, and I will live to see a new heaven on earth." Think about this. This principle of Science of Mind that says what we believe, what we put in mind must come into fruition. So I'm asking you this right now. What if every single one of us, within the sound of my voice, every single friend that you can talk to about this, were to put the expectancy of an absolute dissolving of this virus right now? Maybe that's too big for you, okay? Maybe. Maybe what if it were that we were put in mind that we are all safe? And again, throwing out the piece of string, using empirical knowledge and data, make decisions. Because here's something that I realized this week. If I'm allowing CNN, MSNBC, and other people to infect my consciousness in a manner that's negative, that is a disease that I cannot afford to have. I cannot. You cannot afford to have any dis-ease put into your mind by anyone. So this morning I want you to ask, what is your expectancy for your life right now? What are you willing to verbalize? What are you willing to speak into the universal law of mind that says what you put out here is what I must give back to you? Because in speaking your expectation, you are setting a prophecy for your life. And I mean that. You are prophesying for your life. My former husband one time said to me, "You know, Jackie, an expectancy unspoken is simply a wish." Because, I had a lot of expectations. You're supposed to take the trash out, and you're supposed to wash the car, and, you're supposed to do all that stuff. And one day he said, "How do I know that?" And isn't that what the universe is saying to us right now? How do I know that? How am I supposed to know what you are expecting me to give to you unless you verbalize it, unless you express it, unless you believe it? The universe is speaking to you loudly and saying, listen, your whole life, you've been taught that you have to see something to believe it. And I'm telling you that you have to see it so you can believe it. Wait, am I opposite? I always get this opposite. What I'm trying to say is you got to believe it so that you can see it. Now you see, this is why live they don't like to do in Hollywood. Because all of my minister friends that are out there recording their talks and putting them on Zoom, they can go back and clean it up. Okay, here's what I want to say. Forget everything I just said. And remember this. You have to believe it before you can see it. You have to speak it into the universal mind of God itself. And then you will see it. Then it will be made manifest here on planet Earth as never before. We are called as people to believe in the goodness and the greatness of a God that is bigger than anything, that is greater than anything. Right now, we have never been needed more with this philosophy than today. Because I know there is nothing greater than God. And I believe with all of my heart that what we are going through right now is calling us forth to believe in something. bigger than ourselves, deeper than ourselves, and then we will see it. One of my early influences in the school of ministry, and actually even before the school of ministry, was a man by the name of Marcus Bach. I know some of you have read his book, and one of the most powerful books he wrote was The Power of Perception. But Marcus Bach, B-A-C-H, wrote about 25, 30 books. But anyway, he was the professor of comparative religion for over 25 years at the University of Iowa. And as I'm saying, this man was brilliant, and his books are still in print, so you probably want maybe to read it. But he tells in this book, The Power of Perception, he tells a story. In the opening chapter, he talks about one morning when he was going from his house to the university. He lived in the country, and he passed by a farmer who was holding a newspaper in his hand. And the farmer was looking down at this newspaper and shaking his head, and Dr. Bach stopped and said, "What are you looking at?" And the farmer showed him the newspaper, and then he looked at the fence. Long ago, the fence had been mended, had been repaired with an old wagon wheel. Marcus Bach said that he had seen that fence every day for 10 years, but he had never seen the wagon wheel. They were looking at a photograph in the newspaper that had been taken by an out-of-work photographer who saw it, took a picture, and won $1,000 for the picture. Marcus Bach said, I pass this fence every day for 10 years, and I've never seen that wagon wheel. What he's talking about, what he's trying to tell us, is that we must begin to look for the unusual in our usual lives. Now, we're in an unusual place in time right now. And we're looking for the usual things because that's what makes us comfortable. We want life to get back to the way it was. We want it to be a certain way. And so we keep looking for the usual. Dr. Bach is reminding us that in our ordinary day, we must look for the unusual in the usual. We must begin to look for the uncommon in our world, because when we begin to see the uncommon, we can develop our sense of expectancy. Common, known remedies are not going to change our world right now. Back to what it was, and praise God for that. This whole thing is a call for something new. How much are we looking for the uncommon? I remember a long time ago when I was in Los Angeles, and I had this condo in Covina, of all places, that was a rental. And I was talking to, I'm trying to think of her first name. She was a wonderful minister in Glendale. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, a wonderful minister. I was new to the philosophy. Really, I was quite new to the philosophy. And so I was kind of complaining during the coffee hour and saying, I don't know what to do. I can't find the right renters. And she looked at me, Elizabeth, yes, Reverend Elizabeth. She looked at me and she said, listen, what you need to do is stop looking for what you've always looked for and go into your meditation with a sense of expectancy and ask yourself this. Put a visual of expectancy in your mind and say, I wonder what God has up her sleeve for me today. I'm expecting the perfect, divine, right renter to come. And by the way, I want to tell you something. That worked. Expectancy. What are you expecting? Dr. Bach also tells a story about attending a 100th birthday party for a friend of his. And this man was 100 years old, but he looked like he was 70. And that feels pretty good to me, 70. Oh, wow. But he looked like he was around 70. And he was showing all of his guests around his rose garden. And he was just having such a wonderful time. And Dr. Bach asked him, what do you attribute your long life to? What do you attribute your good health to? He asked the man. The man replied very simply, I have always expected that I would live to be 100. I have always expected that I would be healthy. I have always expected these roses to bloom. I have always always expected to live to be 100. He went on to say, what you are seeing here is no miracle. You are seeing an outpicturing of my expectations. I want to ask again, what are your expectations right now? Are you expecting this is going to go on more and more and you're going to be frightened? I'm going to be honest with you. I put my mask on and I go to Costco and I look around like a scared puppy. Move away from me. What am I expecting? What are you expecting? I want us to expect that when we come out of this, we have deepened in ways we never believed would be possible. I want us at the end of this challenge that the universe has given to us, that this world has given to us, to come out with a new way of experiencing ourselves and of experiencing God through us. I tell you, never before have we been given an opportunity for a closer walk with Spirit than right now. The founder of our movement, Dr. Ernest Holmes, said this: the self-fulfilling premise states that whatever we hold in our mind as an expectation will occur, whether or not it is negative or positive. The switch is on the inside of our heads. No one can force you to have a positive expectation of life. No one can force you to have a positive expectation of life right now. And there are a lot of people out there trying to make us not have positive expectations. So we can be positive about truth, about science, and about reality. We can be positive about that. And we can say, yes, this is how I, throwing my string out, knowing that data is coming back to me that is important for me to know, for myself and for my family. We can do that at the same time, hold a positive expectation that God is greater than all of this, and that we will come through this in a more amazing, brilliant, magnificent way of living as never before. Our planet is healing. Animals are coming in the street. Babies that haven't been born in several decades are being born in our animal kingdom right now. The world is healing. Let us also heal through this. Let us ask ourselves, what in me has been calling forth for a healing right now? What in me? What in my heart and in my mind and in my soul is calling to be healed? Because now we have the time. You see, expectations, my friends, can be both positive and negative. We can have positive expectations, or we can live and dwell in the virus of negativity. And I think that there's no mistake. I do not believe it is a coincidence that COVID-19 came to our world in a time when we were expressing the most negativity I have ever seen in my life. And I mean that sincerely. I grew up in the Vietnam era, and I marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, and I burned my bra and all the things that we did. And never did I experience the level of negativity and bullying and horrifying, unmannered people as we are in this time. And I believe that the coronavirus, the horrifying negative coronavirus, is an outpicturing of that expectation, of that negativity and that belief. Oh yes, I know it's a scientific virus, I know all of that. Why now? And so I believe with all of my heart that, as Ernest Holmes said, show me 100 people who know this and believe it, who affirm and meditate and believe in the positivity, who dwell in the expectation that all is well, who are willing to release their fears around this and move into the goodness that is God. And so this morning, I'm telling you, there is an expectation right now that I'm holding for this community and for this church, that our community is healthy and whole and ready to come back together. And we will be doing that. We are moving forward with a sense of anticipation, of expectancy of the all good. And when we can, we will be back together. You'll be hearing more about that from us on our e-blast and through some personal messages that you will be giving. Dr. Ernest Holmes said, we can do our work not with anxiety, but with expectancy, not with coercion, but with conviction, not through compulsion, but in a state of consciousness, receptivity, and recognition. So we don't have to drive or to push anything right now. We just have to accept and believe. We should then leave everything he wrote to the law, to principle, expecting a full and complete proof of our faith. He said this, we must accept and believe, and then leave everything to the law, expecting a full and complete proof of our faith. Our faith is greater than any fear that we are experiencing right now. Our expectancy acts as a prophet for our future. It's a little bit like gazing into a crystal ball and saying, this is what our future will be. This morning, I hope your crystal ball is very clear. I hope as you look with your expectancy that you're seeing health and wholeness, that you're seeing that your life is going to be better than it has ever been before. We don't need to be concerned because God will provide. God will provide. Do not let your worries about economics, do not let your worries about money, do not let your worries about future dictate actions in your life right now. Allow your expectancy of the all good, that is God itself expressing itself as your life right now. I want you to close your eyes with me for just a moment. Just close your eyes and ask yourself, what is my state of expectancy? Am I expecting the good in my life? Am I expecting an elegant solution to this coronavirus? An elegant solution to this, what feels like prison some days? Am I expecting a miracle? Am I expecting happiness and love and joy? We are free in this moment to switch our minds from fear to faith, from fear to dynamic, fully orbed expectancy that God is great and God is good, and that we walk with that belief every moment of our life. So I ask you, if you're comfortable right where you are, just to close your eyes right where you are in prayer. And know with me that the magnificent power that woke you up this morning and said, "Good morning, my beloved," that power of God, of strength, of health, of wholeness, is right where you are right now. It's right where Chris is. It's right where Sandy is. It's right where every individual in this church that is facing any issues of the body temple, that power is right there in the midst. For those individuals in this church that are having surgery this week, we know that the power of wholeness and healing, goodness of God itself is right there in the doctors and the nurses, the anesthesiologists, every person working on our beloved's body temple. Because we know this, that God is not a separate being, but God is within us, as us, breathing its very life through us now, expressing itself through us right now. And the only thing that is stopping God from its full expression of itself, full expression of its power, is our belief, our fears, our worries. And so we let it go, we let it go, we let it go. We let it go. And we say, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. For we know that the leaders of this world are making decisions from a place of possibility. And we anchor wholeness, healing, and perfection right now around our world everywhere. Everywhere. In the hot spots and the places that are opening up, we send the healing power of God through our beliefs right now. We say, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, living life Almighty. I believe it. I believe it. I expect it. And I see it right now. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Take a deep breath with me. And anchor that feeling, that expectancy of all good right now. We were going to sing I Release and I Let Go, but we're not, because I promise to get us out, because don't forget that right after service, in 15 minutes or so, we are going to be having our virtual hospitality. Now, if you don't have Zoom, it's okay. All of you who have received our e-blast can just find it right now at Center for Spiritual Living, Boise. Just find it, or in your own email, find your e-blast from us this week, done by our beloved Deborah Whitman. Man, does that woman wear many hats, that Deborah Whitman. I'm telling you. So the very first thing in that e-blast was an invitation to come to our virtual Zoom hospitality. We invite you to get a cup of coffee or tea, or in my case, a glass of iced tea, and come to your computer and join us for Zoom. You get to see people's faces. But if you don't have Zoom, all you have to do is go to the e-blast and click on that link, and you'll be right with us. So at 11:45, go click on that link, and you'll be right with us. But if you don't have Zoom, and maybe you're not comfortable doing that, also in that message, there is a telephone number, so you can call in. Now, last week, some of you were on Zoom, but you didn't know how to unmute, and you didn't know how to do all of that. That's okay. Come in on Zoom, and if you mess up, just call the phone number. Then you can look at your screen and listen on your phone. It works lots of ways. So this afternoon at 11, or this morning at 11:45, join us for virtual hospitality, and we'll just greet each other very quickly and then open up for questions. Your leadership has been meeting and discussing things, and I'm ready to talk to you about anything you want to talk about for about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes, depending on how many are with you. Please join us. It's so wonderful to see everybody's face. And I want to tell you what else is wonderful. What else is wonderful is this amazing support that we are receiving through our congregation and through those of you who are watching Facebook Live. I'm telling you, this week we received checks from Oregon, from Florida, from Washington, D.C., from New York. People who have found us on Facebook Live and are watching and helping to support this community and the many ministries that we continue to support in this church. Also, I want to just very quickly, as you are thinking about this, I would say take your gift, your offering, and put it against you, and perhaps you can do that at home. But I want to remind you of something really close to my heart, and that is this issue of prayer. Every Sunday when you're in this church, you filled out a prayer request form, and I know that it's difficult, really, unless you have something in your hand to ask for prayer. But you can email us at the following email address: prayers@cslboise.org. Prayers, that's prayers@cslboise.org. Or you can call our prayer line at 208-375-0791. 208-375-0791. You can leave your confidential prayer requests there. Our prayer director, Loretta Knowles, picks those prayers up off the prayer line and the email address 4, 5, 6 times a day so that we are praying with you. Your practitioners are then alerted. Your prayers are confidential and, unless you want public prayer, are not mentioned publicly. Please know with me that you are not in this alone. I tell you, I had so many other things to tell you. I could do another talk on this expectancy next week, but I want to say this. One of the expectations that I have had is that I'm alone. I live alone. I'm basically working alone. And I looked at that expectation this week, and I realized I'm only alone because I'm not reaching out. Please do not wait for us to call you. Please call us. Our practitioners are standing by right now to pray with you. I tell you, I could run a marathon, couldn't I? Oh, I feel like I'm in a marathon right now, raising funds for Boise State Radio. What I'm saying is, please do not do this alone. Call for prayer, call a practitioner, call the church. But I tell you, those practitioners, they're at home just waiting to pray with you, aren't they? Except Deborah, she's still at work, and Donna's still at work too. But many of our practitioners are at home and are ready and willing to pray with you. So please, email us or call us for prayers. And thank you. Oh, I put these gifts, these offerings to my heart space and say thank you, thank you, thank you. The joy that we have every week in receiving your gifts and supporting you as you participate in the law of circulation. Our church is closed to assembly, but it is not closed to the work that we do here. We are continuing. I come to work every day in this church, and our ministry directors are continuing their work. And so I want you to know how grateful, how thankful we are for your continued support of the Center for Spiritual Living. I think being in a medium-sized or smaller-sized church than some of the mega churches has been a little easier because we're more of a family and people are continuing to support. I know there are a lot of people out there asking for help, and we just are saying thank you for remembering your church as you consider all of the options in front of you for your giving. And so we say thank you as we turn within for a moment, blessing this called money, but knowing that it really represents the abundance of the universe moving in and through us. And so we say thank you, God. Thank you, life. As together, wherever you are out there, we say, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is. Amen. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the Zoom hospitality and listen to the great music by Sandra Kavanaugh and the CSL House Band.
This is a Karen Drucker song. I'm taking one small step in instead of looking at the mountain. I'm taking one small step, gets me closer to my goal. I'm taking one small step instead of looking, just sitting here looking at that mountain, yeah. Then I won't feel like I've got so far to go. I'm taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step gets me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain, then I won't feel like I've got so far to go. I got dreams, they're filled with passion, but I got fears that seem to pop up in my way. But I got power that's deep inside my soul. When I look too far and lose my way, it always lets me know that I gotta take one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step gets me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain, then I won't feel like I've got so far to go. Now I got off the track and I couldn't find my way back. When I looked inside, the truth there could not be denied that I was making it harder than it had to be. Just pushing and fighting till I found the key. That I gotta take one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step brings me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain, then it won't seem like I've got so far to go. One small step, just one small step. I'm taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain. Taking one small step brings me closer to my goal. Taking one small step instead of looking at that mountain, then I won't feel like I've got so far to go. Oh no, I won't feel like I've got so far to go. No, no, I won't feel like I've got so far to go. I'm taking steps, yeah, just take some steps, yeah, just take those little bitty baby, little bitty baby, little bitty baby, little bitty baby steps, just taking steps, yeah, yeah. I'm taking steps, yeah, just one small step. I'll take a step, yeah, just one small step. Take a step, yeah, take one small step.
My blessing for you this week is to accept and expect all your good. Take that one small step, drink in the moment, and be grateful for everything you have. And so it is.
So